Hey guys, welcome back. So we're continuing with more Cult of Carnage Misery with issue 3, where in this one we uncover more of the crazy secrets that Carlton Drake and the Life Foundation have been keeping. So if you enjoy these videos, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications so we can squat up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so in our last talk, we saw Allan finally track down Corwin Jones to confront him and get him to admit that he was hired by the Life Foundation to steal the symbiotes that he had just taken from Alchemax. But what Liz didn't know when she showed up on his doorstep was that she walked right into a trap, because Liz had no clue that Corwin Jones was bonded to all of the symbiote strains he'd stolen earlier, which included strains from the symbiotes Riot, Agony, Lasher, Phage, Scream, and Toxin. And with them all combined together, Jones refers to himself as Madness. But to take it a step further, Jones wanted Liz to find him so that she could bring him the last two strains of both Carnage and Anti-Venom. But before we continue to see how this played out, we jump forward a number of hours where we find Spearhead, who's made his way to the apartment of Corwin Jones along with a number of guardsmen. But at this point, there's no sign of Liz or Jones. And in fact, the only signs that Spearhead sees are signs of a struggle. But fortunately, Dr. Steven was given an anonymous tip on the location of Liz, so he passes that information on to Spearhead, and Spearhead goes to check it out. But in the case of this anonymous tip, this just goes back to our mystery person who we've seen throughout this series, and we'll see who this person is in due time. But right now, as Spearhead is given this update, as far as the current whereabouts of Allan, we also see that this information is observed by one of the creepy little security dolls that belong to Corwin Jones. But just before it can go anywhere with this information, we see some webbing pull its head off, as we're shown that this was done by Spider-Man, who seemingly popped up out of nowhere, much like the segue to this video's sponsor, Marvel Strike Force, the intense mobile strategy game that allows you to play as some of your favorite Marvel characters, so you can assemble the team of your choice and take down some of the toughest enemies. And there's always new challenges, events, and opportunities in-game that you can use to improve your team's performance. And if you're new to playing Marvel Strike Force, you can unlock up to 17 total characters in the first 30 days. Characters including Spider-Man, Deadpool, Thor, Captain America, and more favorites like Moon Knight. So you can jump in and build a great roster early on without feeling left out. And for a limited time this month, if you use the QR code or my link in the description, then enter the promo code CARDS. As a new player, you'll be able to add Gambit to your roster. And you don't want to miss this special offer, because in addition to unlocking Gambit, you get 100 shards, 500 power cores, and 5 premium orbs in-game, all for free. So don't miss out. Install Marvel Strike Force and get your free bonus while offers last. But right now, with Peter showing up at the apartment of Corwin Jones, it's not just some off-the-wall coincidence, but instead the main reason why we're seeing Peter get involved here is because not too long ago, Norman Osborn, aka the Gold Goblin, expressed his concerns about Liz missing, and that's why going forward, we now also have Peter in this series trying to track Liz down and figure out what's going on. So going forward for Peter, following Spearhead is his best lead. But before we see where that takes him, first we go back to earlier to see what happened when Liz walked into this trap. Because just after Jones believed that he had taken her down, he made a call to his boss to let them know he now has the last two symbiotes from Alchemax, even though they're currently bonded to a host at the moment, so he's just gonna have to bring in the host and the two symbiotes all together. But Liz isn't going down without a fight, so she grabs a bunch of Corwin's dolls. She gets them to target her just before turning them on him, which now turns this into a Misery versus Madness matchup, where quickly we can tell that Liz is a bit more acclimated to her symbiote combination than Madness is to all of his, because when he chops right through her, she pulls herself back together. But when Corwin takes a hit, he has to pull all 6 of these symbiotes back on the same page, and we're shown moments where Liz takes advantage of that, because next she uses Anti-Venom on Madness, which causes him to feel the agonizing pain of all 6 symbiotes at the same time, as he hears each and every one of them screaming in his head. So Jones goes on to tell Liz that their pain is my pain, but so is their strength, as he just tosses her up into the ceiling, which really is just the beginning of Madness showing off that he's 6 symbiotes strong out here. And going forward, it's given him the objective upper hand, even with Liz having a little bit more time and experience since she's been bonded longer. but she still doesn't know her abilities well enough to put up a fight against Madness and his brute strength. So for a moment, Corwin goes on to tell Liz what's the deal with all these dolls out here, cause he tells her it's simple. The best security system is one you don't suspect. It's not too different from yourself. Day to day, all people see is that cute face of yours. They have no idea you got a killer symbiote underneath. Makes me want to see what else you're hiding. So right here, Madness just uses a few of his symbiotes to tear Liz into multiple pieces, which as we know, this isn't gonna kill her, and Jones knows this too, but it ends up making things easier for him as far as turning her in, cause now all he has to do is call in his drones, freeze all the different pieces, and take them down to the Life Foundation classified location. But before he does, Madness says something to Liz here that's going to be pretty important later on in this series, cause he tells her, I was starting to find you interesting, but now I see it. You're just a girl who keeps falling upward. Husband dies, you get his company. Someone steals your symbiotes, you take the leftovers. There's nothing special about you, Liz Allan, is there? So we're right after this, we see Jones take Liz to the secret Life Foundation site, but Jones is confident that Liz is able to hear him even in the state that she's in now. So we'll find after some time how this has sparked a conversation of sorts between Liz and her symbiote. But while Jones is here talking to Drake, Jones hears something in the upper vent, but he doesn't think too much of it, and Carlton Drake tells him the security in this facility is so secure that a rat couldn't get into that vent. But as it turns out, the person who's been stalking Liz this whole series, she's found her way here, and she's got help on the way. Cause again, this person is the anonymous source who gave the tip to Dr. Steven, who from there, like we saw, passed the word on to Spearhead. But also right now, back over at Alchemax, Grace, who's the test subject chimpanzee that we were introduced to back in issue 1, she's once again showing signs of being even more intelligent, cause it's here where she tells Dr. Steven that she's figured out who the Life Foundation spy is. It's the same person who supplied him with Liz's location, and it's the same person who's been calling Harry Osborn's secret phone. Which so far, that's all information that Dr. Steven has also been able to put together himself, though in his case only as an assumption, because any attempts that he's used to trace the call, they've all been inconclusive. So Grace tells him, you don't need a satellite trail, when I was able to deduce this simply based on overhearing conversations in this lab. Dr. Steven, just think about it. Who did Harry want to keep separate from his life with Liz? And why would that person be so invested in Liz's well-being? If you let me out, I can help. Maybe then I won't have to cave in your skull for what you've done to me. Which right there, that's just a bit of foreshadowing to the Planet of the Apes subplot that's been going on here. Meanwhile, when we head back over to Spearhead, who's on his way to the secret Life Foundation facility with a group of guardsmen, as well as a friendly neighborhood stowaway. It's here where they're attacked by a group of drones from the Life Foundation, who hit them hard, nearly taking them down. So Spearhead steps outside of the jet, cause he figures since these drones are tracking metal, he'll just throw them off by giving them another metal target. So he jumps out and a bunch of them follow. So he starts taking them down until out of nowhere he notices a bunch of these things getting webbed up as he looks up to see that Spider-Man's hacked the other drones. And he webbed the drones up so they would catch Spearhead in this huge webbed cradle. And Spider-Man's just like, hey, I hear you're looking for Liz Allan, which just gives for a funny moment. But as they continue to make their way over to the secret lab, we head back over there to catch a conversation between Corwin Jones and Carlton Drake, as we're shown what Carlton Drake would describe to be the next phase of the Life Foundation's Symbiote Defense Initiative, with a new project that's the idea of Corwin Jones, because he believes that the humans are the weaker link within the symbiosis process. So to bridge that gap and make better soldiers, they're forcibly bonding brain-dead humans with cybernetic enhancements to symbiotes that they've grown in a lab out of small samples from other symbiotes to achieve the right balance, as they would say. And they're calling these things the Symbiotics, which sounds like a TV show that comes on right after VR Troopers and just before Power Rangers, in my humble opinion. Cause right now the Life Foundation just have so many things going on, to where it seems like this is one of those side projects that got a green light, though it probably shouldn't have. And I mean, Carlton Drake is happy with what he's seen so far, so there's that. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here, who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.